to see you out there. Bye.
So that's basically just for people, yeah, who haven't been to our club. I mean, my idea is I think we're going to put out posters that I know Eric's been working with East Steinhoff on, and so the easy way would be just to go around, post those posters everywhere, and then we're just going to have, I think, like one of those little cutoff things you can just rip, and it'll be a URL to that video. So for people who haven't been associated with the club before, I think we'll just show them that. And was that clear? I mean, are you guys kind of hazy on it, or did it make sense? Cool.
The whole 15 minutes of trading.
Yes.
That's kind of fun.
Okay, yeah. The more we talked about it, it's pretty much inherent that you have to know something about the top performer's point system before you get too involved in the trading. So I'm going to do another video just on trading, just explaining how it's going to work. Ideally, once everybody has it, there's going to be limits. It's something I didn't mention. But after we're done picking the random, picks for everybody, and everybody has their stock, what's going to happen is that we're going to open it up for 15 minutes for trading. You can trade away everything but one of your picks, and you can gain the maximum amount of 10 other picks. So you can basically, now here's the tricky part. Here's the kicker. It's that you're on these forms that you're going to fill out on these stocks. You can take a long position and you can take a short position. It's up to you. So if you're sitting there with a bunch of crap stocks, you might want to think, well, I'm going to hang on to these because I'm just going to short these for the club. So they're going to go down and I'm going to make money.
We're going to be able to do that?
Yeah, you're going to be able to. On the form it says, long position, short position. You got to enter in some values about your target buy, target sell, how much you expect to make, and if you start to lose, what's the maximum amount you want to lose on the stock. But then there'll be a little check mark. You just pick long position. You're going to buy it because you think it's going to rise. So you can pick short position because you think it's going to sell. Now, for the people who aren't too familiar with this, it's going to be an interesting dynamic in the room because you're going to have people who automatically they're going to think of good stocks. They're going to think, I want to buy the best stocks. Walmart, everybody who thinks they're going to go high. Towards the tail end of this whole series, you're going to have a bunch of junk stocks. And you could have, based on the point system, you could end up doing really well if you were up there on top, trade at least some of your good stocks for crap stocks, and then short them. You have the potential to do pretty well in the point system. So it's like the maximum amount of stocks, and if you know your positions, whether you want to go long or go short, is key.
And you can trade, we can continue trading for as long as we're between a certain time period?
It's basically going to be 15 minutes, so the room's just going to be a mess, basically.
There's other trading days right besides the first thing.
There is other trading days, and basically how the whole point system is going to work is that it's going to be basically, I want to say, I guess semi-semesterly. So mid-semester will basically the first trading deadline, you're pretty much locked into your stock to the end of the mid-semester. The mid-semester we award points for your performance for the past 2 months, and then there's another week. And so this time you have a week to trade. And you have a week to resubmit a form. And even if you didn't trade and you just want to reverse your positions, let's say you went long on GE and then midway through, let's say you shorted GE. Midway through the semester, you're like, well, it's Christmas time, it's coming up soon, so I want to reverse my position and go long because you think the stock is going to bounce back and rise. You can do that. A week after, I think, basically, it's the Wednesday after 49ers. And then which I think is actually, October 24th, I think, is when you can do that, and you have to submit them by October 31st, hourly. And then you'll have till November, I set myself right.
How are we going to judge actual positions for the club is going to invest in?
What do you mean? Judge actual positions?
The forms you submit are key.
Yep.
It will have all the appropriate information on there that you're going to have to essentially research. You're going to have to find out the PEG, PE ratios, Sharp ratio, et cetera, and anything else that you want to include. And essentially, the club will make a decision based off of the information that you submit and decide whether to actually purchase your particular equity
Yeah, basically we're kind of getting two things basically
at once.
hitting, knocking out two birds with one stone, or what do they say?
Yeah, you're killing two birds.
Yeah, killing two birds with one stone. We're getting you in the top performers list, and we're getting you to kind of do some analysis on all these stocks for the club. Then basically as a club, during this period between, draft day, during this period between submission date and the point where we're gonna tally up the points and reward them, here we're gonna be looking at all those picks and trying to pick out the best of all of those, of all the submissions, the best out of the submissions, and nominate those to be elected into our portfolio. So it's just gonna be, at this point it's gonna be scanning all these submissions, and then we're gonna add those and trade those.
When do we set our start date? You said we need price targets and such.
Yeah, basically,
When is the start date for our price target?
you can set a start date that's not in the future. You said, you can basically say,
In the past though?
no. Well, I mean, past doesn't matter. I mean, it's gotta be at some point, you can either do it, you can either write current.
It depends on where we're judging our gains from.
Yeah, but, I mean, you could do it from, it won't be before September 5th. I can tell you that right now.
September 5th and on.
On, yes. Or you could say, if this stock hits, you can do it sometime in the future, let's say,
You're banking on the stock to
Yeah.
fall or rise. And
let's
and
say
use-
Chevron's at 92, you say my target buy, I'm gonna go long in it, because I think it's gonna bounce back, so my target's gonna be 92. Or let's say my target's gonna be 89, and my sell price is gonna be 92, and then that's gonna give us a percent return of.
So are we gonna sell it when I reach my sell price?
Yes.
Am I allowed to sell it?
We're gonna sell
And
it.
then reinvest it?
You are allowed to,
Or increase my position in another one?
you can't increase your position. Once you write for this period, between these two periods,
Okay.
once you
Well,
set your target sell, that's it.
Let me give you a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Let's say on September 5th, I wanted to buy a company for $30. I wanted to sell it $45, and it reaches $45 before October 31st.
Yep.
Can I sell it?
We would take your nomination, and we would sell as soon as it hits that price.
Okay, but what about my nomination? And I wanted to sell it.
Then
and
your
reinvest it?
your points are going to be rewarded between then,
Okay.
between that return.
But like we were saying, am I going to be able to sell my nomination at that point and reinvest it in something else?
You can trade that submission
Only on the 31st.
between-
If I pass my price target.
between the 24th and the 31st. You can trade it. And in fact, you can get a lot of stocks for it, because you can say, look at my stock. My stock is earning X amount.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have a chance to go in there and say, and you can tell other people, hey, take my stock, because you can rewrite the target buy and target sell.
But what about, what if I want to get out of that position when I get to my target price and change positions?
Then
Before-
that means you're locked in with that return for these points. And the only way you can submit something new is by trading it, or basically you can make, we've kind of talked about this, if you don't submit something, it goes cold. Basically it dies.
But I just want to know, like, so no, even if I reduce my price target, the answer is no, I cannot trade it till the 24th.
That's correct.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear was a no.
Okay.
Well, but just so we're clear, it is not an accurate depiction of what the club shall do.
Yeah, that is your top performers. See, I mean, there really is like a top performers section of this, and it is a benefit, synergetic benefit to what the portfolio is going to be doing.
Right.
It's going to be, there really are two separate worlds, but the information, and we're going to kind of,
Segregate it.
it's going to say, it's going to basically going to segregate and limit our list for what we're going to look at for the portfolio.
So the portfolio is going to invest in the top performers.
The portfolio will be invested in, most likely, some stocks from the list that is presented. So let's say we have 20 people, that means we have 100 stocks to look at. Ideally, if everybody turns in their submission forms, which I don't think they will, but if everybody turns in their submission forms, then that means that we have 100 stocks that people have already done analysis on. And we can just go through there and pick the best and elect those into the